from high above the San Antonio River Walk on a rainy Saturday morning. It's Standing in the Gap USA live on Facebook, featuring your host and teacher, Brother Art Harmon.
All right, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? We're out here in the great state of Texas, in San Antonio, the home of the Alamo, and what is the NBA team? The San
Antonio Spurs.
Spurs, and it was raining today. It was sunshine yesterday, pretty hot, but we still wanted to be able to bring you the Christian education program, Standing in the Gap. For those that are just joining us and not been with us previously, we're a Christian education program that stands on the Word of God. Been with us previously, we're a Christian education program that stands on the Word of God, and we try to bring Christians who strayed away from God and created a gap between God and his people. And in that situation, the Bible talks about God is looking for someone to stand in the gap to bring his people back. Because God doesn't move. People move for various reasons, create the gap, and God doesn't. He just waits for you to come back. Abbreviated stand in the gap moment. For those who don't know what stand in the gap moment means, we try to take some issue from the current events, and as it relates to our theme of standing in the gap. And this time, and basically it's abbreviated because, of course, being here in San Antonio, may not have all the resources that we normally have. And so I'm asking you to think about something. You know, our how do we say, the previous guy, the other guy who used to be president, what's it, 45? There was something really strange about him and his support, because we know he's not a very religious guy. He's not a very he doesn't show a lot of love for anything other than himself and money. And those and I started to say those who support him, but he don't really love them either. But one thing is the support he was able to garner. And I'm not talking about the white supremacists. I'm not talking about the those that ransacked the Capitol and did all the things that terrible things that he done. What I'm talking about is the strange one, the strange support he got. And that was from the evangelical community. And as hard as I've tried to understand what is it with them, if they're who they claim they are, and the support that they give to him, regardless of the consequences of his actions. So, one thing we'll get into it a little more next week is that his support from evangelicals is strong, regardless of the positions he's taken. We're talking about grabbing women by the crotch, and the things he said about African nations, the stances all the things he's done, really, in order, as he shows that his really his faith is in himself, doesn't take responsibility for anything other than what he might claim to be a victory. And it's just amazing that he gets that, because he's a liar. I mean, if you look at the people who were keeping track, he was lying over thousands and thousands of times, definitely every day. Every day he lied about something. So it's kind of um, hard to understand why evangelicals support him. Now it could be, some people say it's because of you know where they come from, the white evangelicals, and that there's some racism involved in that, and why they support him, and so, but the main thing that's going on with that is one of the things that we've talked about the last couple weeks is abortion, the stand on abortion. The evangelicals look at him as being the only one who stands up for their position on abortion, and it is true that he does stand up for that, not because he believes in it. And I'll show you some videos from next week where his stance on abortion has kind of changed over the years, just like everything he does changes based upon situation or circumstance. And his stance on homosexuality, his stance on well, those are the major things. And in reference to that, what he's done, he stacked the court. He stacked the court. The court uh, just decided to take up a new case. We were talking about abortion. The court has decided to review a case out of Mississippi on abortion, and his stacking of the court put 6 conservatives versus three liberals, and there's a strong chance that the case that they took, and it's the first thing you have to understand is that the Supreme Court had not been taking any of those cases because the Roe v. Wade precedent has been in effect for almost 50 years, I guess. Or no, I'm sorry, 40 years.
73.
73.
It's almost 50 years.
Almost 50 years, and it's precedent, and the court doesn't usually overturn precedent very easily. And so, the mere fact that they have agreed to take that case is a signal that the justices are willing or ready to maybe overturn Roe v. Wade. And that's going to be you talk about a seismic shock to um, to this country and the world, really. If they do that, then you may understand why the evangelicals are very happy with them, because their agenda is being addressed. And there are so many laws out there from the states um, that are trying to attack Roe v. Wade. The one in Mississippi basically would do away with any abortions, I believe, after 12 weeks.
15.
12 or 15 weeks. And right now it's at like months. I mean, 3 months or whatever. But down to 15 weeks. So you're talking about a little over two weeks of pregnancy, and it would ban any abortions after that. And one of the things that we learned in our previous discussions is that a lot of times women don't know that they're pregnant until they miss a period, and that could be 15 weeks. So it kind of
No, it couldn't.
I don't know.
So you miss your first period, you say, "Oh, I don't believe it's true," and you miss your second period, and you say, "Oh, I guess it is true." That's about 8 or 9 weeks.
Well, for whatever reason, what they're doing is moving the goalposts.
Yes, they are.
And if they move it to 15 weeks, then 2 things will happen. One is that they know that the Supreme Court is thinking the way they're thinking, and the other states are going to move the goalposts even more. And so this is basically a test case to see how the Supreme Court would rule on it or feel on it. And therefore, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And it looks like they'll be addressing that case later on in the year. So that's one thing that is coming. Now, of course, the evangelicals. To be truthful, my stance on abortion is not far from their stance on abortion. To be truthful, but I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump based on that, because overall, I think Donald Trump has some demonic characteristics, and it's very hard for me to vote for a demon. It should be very hard for evangelicals to vote for a demon. So their stance is a bit very, very, very hard to understand. And when we talk about evangelicals, we also need to understand there are white evangelicals, there are black evangelicals, and all that. And a lot of blacks aren't on the same page with the white evangelicals. So it's basically white evangelicals. And then there, like I said, there is that mix with them, and we'll get into it more as we on our next maybe couple stand in the gap moments, where there is support from the white evangelicals for things like the voting discrimination that goes on, and we need to understand that, and institutionalized racism. So those are the things that we will be talking about. I want you to think about it, and when we get everything going the way we want, we would like you to come into the room.
The room is operational, and actually, if you look in the chat box and click on the link to the room, I see Sister Monica's in here with us already. The only way you're going to get to see the slides today is from inside the room, because we can't make our connection happen. I'm not sure why, but the only way you can see the slides is from inside the room. So come on in the room, y'all.
Right. And give us some feedback.
Sister Michelle's here too now. Hi.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Monica. All right. Well, so I don't know how.
But we're going to show the abortion movies.
Are you able to?
Yeah, I can show the videos.
Okay. Let's talk about first. Let's talk about where we are. You remember that we talked about where we're coming from, and I've done some more research, and historians are pretty well in agreement with my position regarding the sexual revolution and the seismic change that it's made in our world. I'm serious. I mean, everything points back to that. And so the sexual revolution that everybody is aware of, and that we've come to have it as a part of our philosophy and how we live our lives, made a change. And a lot